And now, News Channel 10's 24/7 local weather first alert forecast.
Well, good foggy Tuesday morning, everyone. I am meteorologist Sheldon Rashears taking a look at a pretty drizzly, damp, and, well, as you can see right here, foggy start to your day out there. As you can see at the time of recording, just a little bit before sunrise, seeing some pretty dense fog out there, and we are not the only ones here in Amarillo. Looking at our relative humidity map, as you can see all those 100% you see around the region, those are areas that are likely seeing some patchy fog. So before we even get into the forecast for the rest of your day, let's look at your fog forecast. As you can see, very splotchy, very patchy fog here expected in the early morning hours. Might see it kind of expand a little bit right around sunrise, but then you'll notice right around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, things should start to thin out. We should start to clear by the kind of late morning hours going into the early afternoon. So let's go and jump right in and take a look at how radar is looking right now. Not terribly active. You are going to notice it's probably going to be pretty wet out there as you get going throughout your day. Not a lot of rain falling, but with all that fog, you get a lot of condensation on the surface. You see some pretty wet conditions, but overall, not a lot of rain in the rain gauge. As you can see, things are really pretty quiet out here, especially compared to your Monday morning. Let's look at your severe weather risk for the day today. You will notice kind of focusing up in that northernmost zone does get as far south as Amarillo, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that. But that is our next weather maker, is possibly thunderstorms to the north today, but we could see some come as far south as Amarillo, but really focusing higher confidence up towards the north. So looking at your high definition model, and there's those clouds clearing. So by about midday today, what we'll start to see is a little more sunshine, especially off towards the west. And then as we go on into kind of the late afternoon hours, by 5, 6 o'clock, there you start to see maybe a few little isolated cells down off towards the south, but up towards the north, that's where you start to see that really organized. That's where you could see some large hail, some damaging winds, and then of course heavy rains as that continues to track off towards the southeast. Borger, Pampa, an area that saw a lot of damaging hail yesterday, could possibly see another round in the late afternoon, early evening hours. But you'll notice by sundown, going into tonight, things really start to clear out, and well, that kind of sets the pattern for much drier conditions to come. Let's talk about temperatures for your day today. As you can see, with that clearing in the afternoon hours, we'll start to warm up into the mid to upper 70s, so we will be warmer than we were yesterday, but still well below normal, as 90 is our normal high for this time of year. We'll only get up to about 79 here in Amarillo. Let's look around the rest of the region. You will notice places like Portales, yet again the warmer spot in the area, 87, 86 in Tulia, 80 down in Childress, high 70s for us. You'll start to see low 70s further up north where maybe there's more cloud cover, maybe some rain-cooled air coming into play the later we go in the afternoon hours. With winds shifting from the east-northeast, east-southeast down to out of the south as we go on into the latter parts of the day. Probably going to see those winds relatively calm, though. That's some very good news. A little bit breezy yesterday. It overall wasn't too bad, but it's always nice to see nice light winds in the forecast. Looking at your 7-day supercast, you're going to see 79 today, 80s tomorrow, and you're going to see 90s starting to come into the forecast. Overnight lows consistently in the high 60s. Lots of sunshine. Rain chances do kind of taper off after today. Father's Day on Sunday looking to be about 92 degrees with mostly sunny skies, relatively calm winds. So overall, a pretty quiet forecast in store for the Texas Panhandle region, but that's going to open up the door for some much needed drying across the region as well. So we'll continue to monitor. If any rain chances need to be added, this will be the first place you see it.